Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of really scary things going on in the world today. So I thought we should get our mind off things by watching top 10 scariest CGI effects in movies from WatchMojo.com. Instead of dealing with real terror, let's look at fake terror. Are you excited, John?
I'm so excited to be alarmed in a different way.
Sugar plum fairies, dementors, and Cloverfield monsters. Oh my. Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 scariest CGI effects in movies. Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Do that here too.
That means we'll be taking aim at computer-generated monsters and visual moments that chilled us to the bone.
All right.
Please note that we will be including things that mix both CGI and practical effects. Also, since many of these monsters show up at the end of their respective movies, a spoiler alert is now in effect.
Aw, crap. I wish I watched movies.
No.
Number 10. The Sugar Plum Fairy,
Oh,
The
good.
Cabin in the Woods. Evil little children always send a chill up the spine.
Yep.
Maybe it's the whole perversion of
Never
innocence
forgot
thing.
her.
As the survivors proceed into an elevator, they're treated to the sight of hundreds of haunting monsters. But this one stood out from the rest. After dealing with killers
It
and
was
even
the
a
first.
ghost, they find a little ballerina in an elevator across from them. As she turns around, however, it's shown that she has rows of teeth instead of a face. The shocking
That
reveal
is
makes
gross.
the twisted look of the creature
Gross.
makes her one of the most memorable monsters in the whole film.
Fornicus.
And in this movie, that is saying a lot. Number 9. Dark Seekers, I Am Legend.
Oh.
I remember watching
How
this in the
many
theaters.
tentacles or
That was
claws
pretty
you
scary.
give your monster,
That was like the whole
relations
scene
that
when he
bear
sees the
close
crowd
resemblance
just...
to humans will always strike fear on a deeper level. Will Smith's Robert Neville is understandably on edge as he journeys through the post-apocalyptic streets of New York City. Considering the devastating effect the mysterious disease has had on humans and animals alike, he'd be crazy not to be nervous. In one particularly terrifying
There it is.
moment, he stumbles upon a hive of these pale mutants and barely makes it back into the light. Their vampire-like qualities, mixed with their almost but not quite human appearance, results in a haunting uncanny valley effect that really makes the viewer squirm. Number 8.
It's been a long time
Creatures,
since I've seen
the
that
Mist.
movie.
Man, likewise.
Bugs will probably scare humanity until the end of time. Let's just hope that oversized, extra-dimensional ones are not what brings it about. While so much of the initial fear in this Stephen King horror comes from the potential for accidents, earthquakes, and other such worldly concerns, the people waiting out the storm soon encounter forces far more disturbing. Between the giant
think the-
mantis-like creatures, killer flies,
Sam Woodward.
and those terrifying tentacles reaching through the mist, it's a
Schmodown.
veritable CGI buffet of nightmares come to life. The off-putting and
That's
incomprehensible
not very
features that
good.
make up these monsters are grotesque. Add to that the size of these creatures, and
That looks
you've got
great.
terror worthy of Lovecraft
So
himself.
Lovecraftian, right? Yeah, I knew she was going to say.
All those tentacles and excess arms.
Number 7. Azog the Defiler, the Hobbit franchise. Towering above our heroes, this wicked-looking orc chieftain is all the
Okay.
more
It's
terrifying
not horror,
as a result
so
of his heavily textured, battle-scarred
the title
skin
isn't
and
horror.
jagged armor placement. Chasing after Thorin and his companions astride his gigantic white warg, he makes for a truly nightmarish figure. Just look at that horrible grin he presents when faced with danger. Though the handsome Manu Bennett may have been the man behind the mocap performance, his rugged good looks made it into the final creature design. With his short temper, brutal strength, and upgraded blade arm, Azog is one orc that will keep you up at night.
I mean,
Number 6,
I was more
Mr.
distracted
Gray,
that
Dreamcatcher.
he wasn't practical effects when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Dreamcatcher's
Creature
getting a
becomes
shout
all the more
out?
horrific when you find out you've only seen one of its forms. In this
Damian
bizarre
Lewis?
alien
Yeah,
tale,
wow.
adapted from the work of Stephen King, our heroes first encounter a slimy, oversized parasite. With its huge fangs, this nightmare slug is already plenty freaky, but it is nothing compared to Mr. Gray himself. A tall, humanoid alien, Mr. Gray is seriously imposing, but it's his party trick that really terrifies.
Here we go.
When he later exits the body he's possessed, we're presented with another form. A giant saw-toothed beast with a razor-sharp tail. Forget a dream catcher. After meeting Mr. Gray, you will never be able to fall asleep again.
They're 2 Thomas
Number
Jane
5,
movies
The
on.
Dementors, Harry
Yeah.
Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mentors are pretty creepy.
The
Say
name
so.
really says it all when it comes to these ghastly creatures. Floating around like foreboding embodiments of death, these wraiths feel like hell on earth. Guarding Azkaban
Nice.
prison, they feed upon happiness, making time in the wizarding prison an even worse fate than one can imagine. Devouring human souls, these large ghouls are just as scary to think about as they are to see face to face, as they chill the air
God, it's been so
and
long
eat
since
up
I've
the
seen
world
this.
around them. Given their seemingly endless numbers and with no way to destroy them, the only thing scarier than a Dementor is a Dementor working with Voldemort. Number 4, Dragged to Hell.
Oh,
Drag Me
yes.
to Hell.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
In this macabre tale of magic and demons, our protagonist
macabre.
Christine is cursed
Macabre.
and she denies a gypsy an extension on her loan. Though hell is well-trod ground conceptually, the first-hand look at the underworld provided in this film will leave you hiding behind a blanket. At the beginning, we get our terrifying first look, and it's
No.
enough to make anyone want to turn over a new
No,
leaf.
no, that
Here we
last
follow
look
a
is the
couple
best.
seeking help for their cursed son, but it's too late.
The final
The
moment.
floor breaks and a burning nether realm opens below him, as hands drag him screaming into its fiery depths.
Oh, I forgot about the shadows.
Number 3, Aliens, Signs. There's nothing
That's a
quite
good,
like
yeah.
seeing the confirmation of your
That
fears in the
scene
flesh.
was
so much Of
terrifying.
this alien horror film plays on people's paranoia.
Some people
and
say
when
they
the
laugh
reveal
when they saw
comes
it.
and the
I
aliens
was
are
like,
seen,
that's
it's
scary.
downright terrifying.
I jumped.
A rural family is terrorized in their own home when they start seeing crop circles in their cornfield, among other odd and unsettling occurrences. When it finally gets its moment in the spotlight, the giant extraterrestrial proves to be both fast and strong, and is made all the more
Harder,
intimidating by its
better.
piercing eyes. It's the sort of alien that'll make you think you're looking
Swing away,
stars, but
Meryl.
what you're witnessing is a work of fiction.
Little Breslin, that's right.
Number 2, Arachnids,
Yeah.
Starship Troopers.
Casper Van Dien.
I mean, what's the brain sucker one? That one scared the
Scares,
crap out of
like
me.
strength, are best in numbers. The expansive bug race that terrorizes colonies and military forces in this sci-fi satire comes in so many shapes and sizes, it's hard to say which one
That
we'd
looks
choose to face if we had
exactly
to.
like the one from
the
Godzilla.
massively jawed and clawed warrior bugs that can rip people in half, to the swarms of equally dangerous flying bugs, there isn't a welcoming creature among them. Alongside
F-O,
explosive bugs and building-sized tankers that spit acid and artillery, each subspecies is terrifying in its own way. Even the slow brain
There it
bug
is.
shocking sight to behold.
I have seen that in person.
Oh, you have?
And
Yeah.
our number 1 pick. Here are some honorable mentions.
Oh my! Oh, that's right.
Oh God, I haven't seen this one.
It's the one time.
Sensing a theme of mouth and multiple teeth. Face mouth.
Pretty freaky.
Number 1, the giant monster, Cloverfield.
Really?
Never seeing the full scope of a monster makes it somehow even more terrifying. Given that we only catch the most sparing of looks at this massive beast at any given moment, it lands in that perfect middle ground to inspire the viewer's minds to fill in the blanks with even more ungodly terror. Mixing amphibian stretches of skin among other features, along with jagged arms and beady eyes, the parts we do see of this colossal titan are grisly. With its massive jaw and equally vicious
Ew.
babies, this monster proved itself as scary on screen as it was off. So I tried to get someone to CGI me into the Cloverfield movie so I could like duck and dodge the Statue of Liberty's head, but we don't have that budget, so whatever. To console me, can you guys hit that like button? And be sure to check out these related videos where we're talking about
That was-
movies that do have that
That was
of
good enough.
Yeah.
We should end every video with what we wish we could have done with that video.
Yeah. There you go.
You know who I thought was scary?
Who's that?
Mama.
Mama was scary and very CG enhanced. That is true.
That became like a meme, like a scary ass meme where it's just like floating and it's in the like in the background and then it just that scared the crap out of me. Yeah.
When things move unnaturally fast and roar in ways they shouldn't,
Yeah.
it's very unnerving to say the least.
I like the way this list was done because they kept it where it was all CGI. I would say watching the footage of whatever that creature is from The Hobbit here, I think is effective and scary. I was never scared when I watched the movie. I was so aware it was CGI, and so much of that is lent to the fact that what everyone has always said about like Lord of the Rings, did a lot more practical, and Hobbit went full blown CGI. So when watching that character, my mind would constantly go, why didn't the practical this?
Yeah.
So I can't really say it's one of the scariest, but I also can't argue putting it on the list.
Yeah, I don't care enough or disagree enough to argue it off, but I saw that movie in 48 frames, which I actually didn't hate, but all the Azog scenes, or most of them, were heavily CG for most every element on screen, and those really, and I don't mean this hyperbolically, they started to look like video game cutscenes, and so I was often distracted by him because of that.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else I think would be great? Why am I blanking? The Aquaman, the Trent Reznors.
The trench folk.
The trench folk, whatever they were called.
People.
They're supposed to do a movie about them. I thought they were really like terrifying CGI monsters.
Or what about the ones from Attack the Block? Simple design, marriage of practical and CG effects.
What about Alien Resurrection, when they're in the water and the xenomorphs are swimming?
There you go. Or in Alien Covenant, when they're in the ship and the xenomorphs are on top of the ship.
The Cabin in the Woods one. It's funny because there are a crap ton of monsters in that finale, but that is the iconic one.
It's so unsettling because you know something messed up is coming, but there's something just so off-putting about when you really distort the human form to the point where it's like all real and then teeth. And you pointed that out. It's like gaping mouth with lots of teeth are like a very well-tread horror trope.
Well, I think it works because of the fact that these are body parts that we have. They're just placed in weird quantities and in different sections you wouldn't expect.
It's a remix.
Yeah. I think it does something to the brain with some kind of abnormality, deformity that could be potentially linked to a humanoid organism of sorts. Those are the biggest words I've ever used in one sentence.
Sounds like a Resident Evil movie now.
Pretty much, right? As I'm thinking about the list, I'm also simultaneously trying to think of other CGI characters. The Signs one, I'm glad they put it on the list. I don't really find that the design scary, because a lot of times with the CGI effects, they work best through obscured vision. Like what they were talking about with Cloverfield, for example. Like, that's true. It works because of the obscured vision. And I think there's only one moment, if I'm remembering the movie, one moment where you get a clear shot where the camera's pointed up and it looks down and it says, "Am I ready for my close-up?"
I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Abrams.
It's Matt Reeves.
That's right, he only produced that.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, wow. Movie
How
trivia
did you
schmodown.
ever survive the Schmodown free-for-all?
The same goes for The Mist. And that's a movie, too, where the effects actually kind of play better in black and white because of the old-timiness of the film.
You have the version in black and white, right? Yeah.
I appreciate that movie because the point isn't the monsters, so they're still able to be scary because of the context and stuff like that. But there are a number of movies on this list, actually, that I feel like I've heard people debate the effects of. That's one that came to mind, but I'm glad it made it here.
And the thing with The Mist is, I think if you don't pick up on the B-movie schlockiness of the effects, I've never heard the filmmaker speak on it. But when I saw the movie, that's how I took it, was it's kind of like throwback vibe effects.
Oh, yeah.
But then I could be wrong, and they just didn't have a budget. But the fact that they put out a black and white version makes me think that. You know what's the scariest effects today? Deep fakes.
Deep fake technology is impressive, hilarious, and terrifying, yes.
You never know what they're gonna do now with these celebrity faces. Think about how scary it is, how they can mislead the world. What if it gets to the point where politicians are being deep-faked? What if Trump has never given any of these speeches?
Oh my, he's not even doing any of this stuff. Yeah. He's just chilling while they CG his face places.
I didn't even finish up my thought on that. You see, with Signs, I'm not a big fan of the final scene for a variety of reasons, but I'm not a big fan of the final scene in terms of just its effects because it's too clear of a shot, whereas that moment at the party where you do get a clear-cut shot of the alien, but it's still fairly obscured because of the kind of camera quality that is capturing it, and the fact that it's way in the background. Now they have to zoom into it, distill some of the pixel quality, so you do get a different, as opposed to like cloud and shades and darkness, you get a different type of obscured aesthetic when it comes to that alien, and I thought that moment in and of itself was very effective.
Funny enough, though, I mean, you brought up the brain sucker, and I'm sure they used CGI and practical in Starship Troopers, but I have been in the room with that big giant creature thing they built, and it's really unsettling because it is huge. I forget which effects house did it, but in their warehouse they have it.
It was terrifying,
and yeah,
that's the main thing. Honestly, I barely even remember the main creatures they're shooting in the movie. My mind always flashes to the brain sucker. I mean, the best kind of scary monsters are often, if you're gonna do like big monsters, something that's totally out of this world where you only do CGI, obscured vision or really dark lighting goes a long way. Things like the Dementors are usually in some even when they're playing Quidditch, in that one moment they showed, it's still coming through the clouds. So there's some type of way to mask certain parts of it, or you can see it in real dark lighting. The Hollow Man stuff is unsettling, but I don't think it's aged well.
Not necessarily. No. It's gross for sure.
Yeah, but in a few years it'll look like a lawnmower man. Honestly, it will.
I'm surprised there was no mention at all of Jurassic Park.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, because that movie, I mean, is obviously marriage of CGI and practical, but that A, broke huge ground for CGI, and B, still holds up, and C, is pretty freaking scary.
Well, I think it's because what they were doing was bringing to life an animal that already existed. You know what I mean? But
hell already exists. Point broken.
But there's also the side of, we don't know 100% for sure what the dinosaurs really look like. We have good scientific evidence to back it up. There's always people going, actually, a raptor really would have looked like this back then. Here's what a T-Rex really would have looked like. And their sound design on the roars were a combination of different animals. That way it felt real. The roars that we associate with dinosaurs, primarily due to Jurassic Park, are not authentic to what the dinosaurs sounded like. There's one way I would argue having them on there. But I think a lot of the T-Rex too, there's a lot of CGI, but also a lot of it is animatronic. But then again, they did mention it here as an honorable mention, but they called it true form.
Yeah.
That's which is a little tiny baby.
Oh god, yeah. You're a clown. You're a clown. You're a stupid clown. But the one that surprised me the most, oddly, was I Am Legend, because I remember when that movie dropped, everyone dogged the CGI specifically.
Oh really?
Yeah, I feel like that movie has kind of gotten a black eye over time, especially for the CG not being incredible.
Oh, especially in the finale.
Yeah, being very obviously CG.
Yeah.
And they point out even the Uncanny Valley, which I feel like really could go either way for people, because for some people, it does make it more creepy, and for others, I would imagine it just breaks the effect more.
Well, yeah, because I think they were going for, other than the movement and like the crawling up walls, I think the design, they wanted it to still look human, where maybe they might have benefited from just going all out with complete deformity.
I don't know, because there are so many moments that are in the dark that I feel like you could CG just those moments.
Yeah, those moments look great. But the main guy, the
leader guy,
he looks like the dude from The Hills Have Eyes.
Michael Berryman?
The bald guy? Yeah.
A little bit. A little bit.
Well, guys, leave your favorite CGI scary effect, your subjective one, down below. Subscribe. Why don't you click a bell? Any bell. Just ring your doorbell. Hey, let's give a patron of the day shout out. Andrew Hayes.
Andrew.
Sometimes when I write poems, John acts them out. John wrote you a rap. So what we're going to do today is, I haven't read this, not one bit of it. I'm going to do it for you.
Oh, thanks, man. Here we go. You ready? I'm excited. I'm excited now.
All right, ready?
All right. 1 and a 2. What a day, what a day.
I was going to do it.
Oh, sorry. You're going to do the rap?
Yeah.
Oh, and I'll act it out. Oh, let's do it. All right.
You act it out.
All right, I'll act it. Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right,
yeah.
I'm going to do this in my favorite kind of rap style, 90s hip-hop. What a day, what a day. It's time to shout out Andrew Hayes, one of the greatest damn patrons in the U.S. of A. If you need your locks changed. He's the man you want to ring. A 5'3" Wolverine, smelling sweet like
Potpourri.
potpourri. That's how you spell potpourri.
Yeah.
Huh. I never knew there was a T there.
Potpourri.
This man, Andrew, it's all he can do to keep the film reviews coming, whether rainy, dark, or sunny. This man's got mojo like a bunny. Oh, behave, go to a rave, and let Andrew's ecstasy envelop you just by standing in the same place. Sometimes got a beard on his face, but it can't hold back that smile. This voice, Andrew's ride or die. Apocalypse survivor god. Oh my, I think I'm smitten. Watching that mojo cause I'm hitting on you, Andrew. Did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because holla, yeah,
Oh, hallelujah.
yeah. Lucky number 11.
Needed a last rhyme there
Where?
for heaven, so I went with lucky number 11,
Oh.
which I think Andrew likes that movie. So,
Ah.
but don't quote me on that. If you hate that movie, I apologize. Well done though. It's exactly what I had in mind.